we're going to have a donation war over the plate. Right, let's get into our semi-final. This is best of 5. And in the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Terran player from Mouse Sports. This is HeroMarine. And in the top right, our red Zerg from Clash, it is Reynor. He just played an excellent series against Marine Lord. Very fun first game. If you missed that, I would advise you go check it out because that first game was absolutely stellar. It was a ton of fun. Really, really enjoyable stuff. So do check it out if you didn't see it already, basically. Are we really having to write about the plate being in broadcast? Amazing. Why does it say 0-0? Because when a series starts, both players start at 0 points. And that allows you to start the series without anyone having a 1-point advantage. I think you're getting confused because we just had Reynor beat Marine Lord. This is HeroMarine. They are 2 different Terran players. Sorry, didn't mean to just make fun. Just it was a fun opportunity. You know, I'm a socky little british guy. You know, I gotta take what I can. When 2 players love each other very much, they start the series at 0-0. Hey, Aaron ACKR, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I'm going to read these quick just as we get the game started. Not too much is happening just yet. Subs going out to Chunky, Bread, 447, El Mario, Karop, Hair Doctor, and TSS Per for the 2-month resub. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs and that generosity. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, another series that might end up over there. This is Reynor HeroMarine semifinals of the Rotti and Wardi Cup number 3. $1,500-ish prize pool right now. It's increasing with donations, etc. We're running this as ESL Open isn't on today due to maintenance on the ESL website. So that's what is currently ongoing and happening and all of that good stuff. We're putting some damage in. Drones, lings, taking some shots. And these few lings coming around the other side. Queen gets a little bit of damage out, and the Reaper takes another hit or so. We do get a little bit of creep spread starting to move out the front of the natural expansion, dropping a grenade down, and the Queen dodges away for the moment. Reaper just kind of chilling beneath the Overlord. Overlord is kind of following the Reaper a little bit, chasing him down. And there's that circling speed coming up at the moment, and just getting ourselves, well, just getting this ready to go, basically, as again, a few lings just continuing on through. Oh, grenade. Reaper again getting pushed back, and again, so far, so good. To start off this TVZ, nothing too wild. We start on 2,000 atmospheres. This is going to be played on the new ladder maps. 2,000 atmosphere is one of the 2 maps alongside Blackburn that has remained in the pool, while 5 new maps will be entering. HeroMarine is going to lose the Reaper as ling speed kicks in. Oh, but he does get to the Hellions, which costs Reynor 3 lings. Something that started out maybe being just, you know, a freebie. It ends up costing. It's not a major deal, right? But it's the sort of thing that adds up, and you never know when those 3 lings might be the ones that grab us around on a Hellion further down the line, right? So you take what you can get. Another 2 Hellions go around the far right side, so away they go as our Liberator is going to be finishing. The Stim Pack is on the way in. Our Mule expires and just got our 2 Marines chipping away at this Overlord, and it is gone. So that OV is denied. Lib and Stim just continuing up then. I mean, this is kind of a Clem build, right? You go like fast Stim, but you go for Hellion Liberated so you have that kind of multi-pronged harassment. You keep the Lib alive as long as possible, and you know eventually you've just got kind of Hellion Liberator, and you've got fast Stim to kind of hit with bio after it. So it's a nice little harassment-focused build without going too overboard. Yes, you are going to be on a later 3cc. It's not 3cc right away, but it's still early enough to give you a strong economy behind it. And obviously right now you can see HeroMarine just working to pick away at some of this creep spread. Reynor really stepped it up when he played against HeroMarine in DreamHack. He played a very good series against him. He was just really well-rounded, solid, not a lot of messing around. Reynor just looked really, really good, and unfortunately that wasn't a fight he could bring to Clem the next day or so, as he did get eliminated. Sorry guys, spoilers, but I mean, DreamHacks happened. I've got to be able to talk about it at some point. So yeah, a little bit of a shame, right? Because, you know, now Reynor's not at the season finals for the second season in a row. And that's kind of crazy, honestly, to miss out on another season finals after he won the first one. 3 workers dead here as the Spore Crawler just removes the Liberator from play. The Italians getting into work and going to get rid of maybe a couple of drones. Yep, 6 workers going down. 7. HeroMarine getting some good damage. Obviously pretty ballsy diving these Hellions in, but he's going to get 11 workers, a good chunk of Zerglings. I mean, you look at what's being lost. 8 Hellions, a Liberator versus 12 drones, 15 Lings. I don't hate it at all. I think that's good harassment, because the sort of thing that forces you to rebuild workers here is Reynor. So you've got to rebuild those workers, because if you're not rebuilding those workers, you're generally going to be in a bit of trouble. So yeah, you're kind of rebuilding some workers, and then yeah, just trying to play catch-up a little bit, basically. Then again, obviously now you've got no Hellions denying your map control, so the group spread starts to expand more rapidly than it did before. It was 8 Hellions, right? Like, if it's 4 Hellions and they get 11 workers, that's always incredible. Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, you know, obviously I don't think HeroMarine is upset about it, but I don't think Reynor's upset about it, right? It's really one of those borderline trades. Now, this is going to be a little bit more problematic as Marines run into this main, and they are doing a lot. They traded really well, and obviously most of them getting out alive. Going to maybe drop down to the low ground and get rid of some creep spread. That's the one thing I'm worried about now, is that the creep maybe gets out of control without the Hellions just to help a little bit extra. Obviously, run-by potential is something to think about too. If the Hellions are gone, run-bys are more powerful on that third base, but it doesn't look like we've got anything kind of going toward that third base or anything, right? Looks as though it's just going to be pretty okay for the moment. There's a Liberator there. I mean, units are pushing from there as well, so they're naturally going to catch a lot of units if they head in that direction. As Reynor is down in supply. And HeroMarine's going to find his way forward here to try and get a little bit more done. Lings force the lift up, and the Widowmine set off on just 1 Ling. Wow, nice well, something there too. He just saves that second mine. It was a good split on the Lings. I thought at least a good clump of them were about to go down, but Reynor won't let that happen, as on the right side, he's going to get rid of a good amount of creep spread pushing forward and just clearing up where he can. Let's see how Ling is continuing through, and the Marine's just going to lift up into that orb, into those medevacs, and we do have units coming around the top side still. Looking for a bigger push into the top of the map. We have 1 Marine splitting away, just going to check that base, sees it, so that might just become his target to deny this new base from getting up. It's off creep, so it's an easier fight to take, because Reynor's not as likely to contest it, as if you're trying to push on the creep over here. He is going to contest it a little bit. He's got Queens trying to work through for some damage, but again, off creep, he's just not getting enough out of this. And we're just going to be seeing the rest of the Marines continuing through. Picking away a lot more of the creep spread here, and this Overlord gets picked off. Question from the chat: does anyone know why Terran doesn't expand more and sooner? You don't need to expand as quickly as a Terran player, because you hit your work accounts a little bit slower, basically. And 70 workers as a Terran, because you generally want to be putting just a bit more into army. And you want more free supply to be available for army, so it depends on the style you're playing. But it's also just not cheap to build an extra command center like it is for Zerg to build a hatchery, which is just a few, you know, it's 100 less minerals, for example. You need hatcheries because they also come as your production, whereas the Terran has to build production structures, for example. So yeah, just in general, Terran relies a bit more on army initially, compared to Zerg. Because Zerg can, again, just, you know, when you're adding 2 more barracks on as a, you know, as a Terran, the Zerg can just add a hatch, and that's a base. So yeah, and then there's just the point of you kind of just get to, in general, your work account a little bit slower. So you just don't need the bases as quickly anyway. Widow lines just with this army. Didn't burrow. Yeah, it does feel like HeroMarine still has good control of this game. Reynor's into these Hydras. Interested to see if they change up anything, because I like them when he used them against Marine Lord. I don't think I'm liking them as much right now, as we're just going to be seeing a few Bane lanes continue to get picked away at. Medivacs, I wouldn't mind spinning off the screen. A lot of the Medivac shot down here, actually, and HeroMarine is heavily stemmed up on these units. He has no retreat potential now with this. And the Bane lanes starting to connect, and that's just going to mean the Lings, 2-3 shot these units. Reynor gets a clean up on honestly a sizable army from HeroMarine here. And now we're going to be seeing HeroMarine making his way up to the top side. Gets that queen as well. I mean, let's see if he can clean up this army effectively too. I do feel like Reynor will have truly started turning it around big time. I was just going to be seeing the Lings continuing forward. Man, he just pushes this back with ease. Obviously, HeroMarine, the mines don't work as well against the Hydras, but he is now on tank production, building libs as well. They're great at zoning out Hydras. So that's kind of where we are going for the moment. Again, Ghost Academy just going to be finishing all of our libs coming through, and I do like it. I think the libs are going to be great to stop the Hydras dead in their tracks, but not if you just fly right into this army, as Reynor still poised aggressively, and clearly HeroMarine was not ready for him to be poised as aggressively as that. Do you really have a chance to push in here as Reynor? He thinks so. He'll get rid of the lid. Obviously, one lib alone isn't that scary, and now Banes are going to get the reinforcing unit showing up. Wow. He's fighting the left side decently as well. I'm a little worried that maybe the Hydras are left on their own, but they're not. A great couple of fights from Reynor, really getting good damage done, really just cranking out the herd. He gets a full medevac and Marines killed with those Hydras now as he targets down one, goes for two on the Liberators, gets them both. Bane's still connecting here and there, but now it is Hydras with no real kind of front line for them. And that's where you do lose Hydras quickly, and that's why you've got to start backing away from this. Maybe loses a couple units. No concussive shells. It's just about to finish, so maybe could have had a couple more Hydras instead of having to chase as far as he did. Still got Ling Hydra collecting out over there. A few Banes coming around the right-hand side. Look, Den is building from Reynor in the main, so maybe a bit part of this as we do see our Widow line burrowed, and just going to be seeing these Zerglings being picked away at the moment. Bit of back and forth so far. We do have our Lean Bane Hydra continue to move around on the left-hand side. Just going to keep on pressing up here. We're going to get past the watchtower, and well, you're just going to start splitting a little bit. A few Banes crashing into some Marauders. Is Bane still chasing? Whoa! Widowmine's hitting a bit of everything. Bit of Terran, bit of Zerg. Hydras want to come and shut this army down. This is enough Hydras to chase for the moment, but of course off creepy, not super quick. What's big is the Hive just finished, and the Lurker Den is now done, and that opens up the road to Lurkers. Welcome to your battlefield. I mean, Lurker's obviously a game changer. And I know HeroMarine has been working toward Ghost, but his first Ghost is only just now building, if I'm not mistaken. Lurkers are going to make Reynor way sturdier defensively, and if he can get into aggressive positions with them, then brilliant. Did he go, okay, Seismic Spines first, which is the norm. I just wondered if he wanted to go Adaptive Talons first, just for the fact that he's playing a more aggressive stance at the moment. It's not an impossibility, right? That's something he could have maybe done. Continue down over here, Ling Bane, Hydra Lurk coming through. A couple of shots from those Lurkers, picking away at a depot. Wings on the left side, going to get rid of a few SCVs as well. It's 10 workers going down. Just going to be seeing our Bio Army pushing the Ling Lurker away as well. And a couple of Lurkers firing a couple of shots just out at that orbital command, so putting some damage out there. That's going to be seeing our Bio Force coming back through, chasing this away. And again, just going to see those Lurkers firing up a bit of a storm right now as on the right-hand side. And do have our army backing up. I mean, we do have this base being taken, at least from HeroMarine at the moment. There's a few Banes just continuing to morph on in. Just going to have those Lurkers firing up a storm. Doing a decent job of it. Ling Hydra Lurker continuing down the right-hand side. Medivacs. Low HP. If the Hydras can just catch them for a moment. Obviously backing away to a planetary. The Medivac stopped to heal. Loses one. Is maybe going to lose another. Man, Reynor's really swarming right now. Feels like HeroMarine really just lost grips on this game big time. He really had a great setup too. That's a problem when you fight against Reynor. He's so good at just drawing the game out to a position. Oh my god. There's so many SCVs here that Reynor doesn't know about. He's going to realize it now. He's still got the army zoned away. He didn't see it. Oh my goodness. 20 SCVs just sat there waiting to be killed by a couple banelings. And Reynor misses the opportunity. Didn't see it there. Here we go. We're going to stream on forward with Ling Bane. We've got an attack on the left side. Checking on that in a moment as these Banes just come crashing through. It's the Lurkers on the left. We scan to fight them with the tanks. Lurkers take a couple steps forward. They're going to try and fight these tanks for real. That didn't work out too brilliantly, and Reynor loses a lot in this for the moment. I can't believe these 20 workers survived. That's obviously incredible for HeroMarine. Can you imagine he's down on 40 workers now? Now he can realistically get up to 4 base mining in the game, whereas he was about to be just, back down on 3 bases and hurting from there as well. Was really about to be sucking a little bit as the Lings run around the right-hand side. Just going to be scanning up a little bit as well. And Ling Bane Queen setting up, a couple lurkers morphing in. Lurkers in the main just unloading and firing up a bit of a storm. Liberator's trying to siege that one lurker, runs to the corner. Of course, there's a scan at least. I love the idea of the lurker drop. I mean, a bit different to the Nidus, but it's a cute idea, right? You're not going to get a ton of lurkers in there, but just trying to put a bit of pressure in. As we do have our army of Reynor setting up to move down this bottom side. In we go. Ling Bane lurker running forwards. You're going to see siege tanks getting picked apart right away. Honestly, the tanks... tank line runs deep though, and the tank line running so deep is a little bit problematic because the rest of the tanks did get a lot of shots off so far. Lurker Bane sets up on the right side watchtower. A few Vipers coming through, just gonna try and jump on the siege tank. There's going to be seen our lurkers burrowing up, and our tank's gonna get jumped on right away. Oh, both these tanks going to go down pretty quickly, huh? This is problematic because HeroMarine's now going to have his bases jumped on. He's going to try and fight these lurkers with a little bit of bio. He might break through these few here. I mean, these few over here actually won't be that much of a problem after, I guess, as long as you've got a scan right now. Reinforcements are just running into them. Well, I tell you what, actually, these units in the back are low HP, and they get massacred by the lurkers to begin with. And Reynor still ends up losing a lot. The difference is Reynor just has base after base after base after base. He's got, mining for days, really. And obviously, HeroMarine has just about established this base on the 6 o'clock. This base is back mining over here, but it's been very disjointed mining. He's never been left alone to just permanently mine for a while. So Reynor has the rebuild potential. This one attack now of HeroMarine, yep, absolutely scary. So this is probably HeroMarine's best shot. As I wonder if HeroMarine was going to miss those drones in the corner. Probably not, as they try and make a getaway. He's going to find them. 5, 7. Already going down. The Liberator is set up to cover the area over here. That Hatcher on the right side going down as well. And just seeing Ling Bane in the middle of the map. The Vipers start to make their way down to the south side. And here we go. The Ling Bane lurker coming through. Nice little blinding cloud on top of the first tank. Ling's going to jump on top of these multiple siege tanks here, so they go down with ease. And we will turn to fight, and another tank gets picked away out. Liberator's putting some more damage out there. And just seeing a good parasitic bomb onto a group of medevacs as well. Doing a decent job of hurting these. I mean, these guys are all low HP. Those SCVs got their work cut out for them repairing. But we're back up to 180 supply each, and Reynor HeroMarine is absolutely starting to go the distance here tonight. Semi-final on this bottom side of the bracket. +3 missiles, +3 melee all on the way through. These few Queens of Reynor backing it up a little bit. And Marine's come forward, going to get rid of a whole bunch of creep tumors as well. Do have our drones just transferring around that upper left-hand side. Lurkers are going to burrow up and just going to be seeing, a few Banes going to crash in. This base finally getting killed off. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Obviously, HeroMarine is going to deny some bases of Reynor top left. Reynor running drones around everywhere trying to do something about this. These Lurkers took a while to burrow up. I mean, they try and get transfused for a little while, keep them going. He actually does a good job. Oh my goodness, the lurk has lasted forever, it felt like. There's still a few Marines to go on this drone line, but it took him so long to get rid of the lurk because he's going to have units here to deal with this Reynor. 50 supply lead. HeroMarine is running out of mine. He's running out of options. And that's the major issue. Again, Reynor mining comfortably off 2 fresher bases top left. I say fresher. This one's mining out of minerals in some mineral patches. The top left especially is fresher for sure. It definitely has all of its patches left. I think that's just the biggest difference. HeroMarine's trying to achieve that with this 9 o'clock base, but that just seems unlikely to happen. It's spreading himself out too thin. As Reynor gets himself right in between the bases here. Most of the units in the game are lifted into medevacs right now, which Hydras are shooting at. He does get most of them out, but it's not enough. GG's, and Reynor takes game number 1. Guys, special shout out so much for the love. That's in the bottom right hand corner. It is going to be our blue Terran player, HeroMarine. Down a game after he had a good start, but just couldn't weather the swarm of Reynor. He's in the top left. M Hunt is the worst. It always sounds so bad, no matter how long you wait to say them both. So actually, way back when, we're talking like 9 years ago when I started casting, one of my friends submitted a replay to me with M Hunt. Obviously, not saying the entirety of the first part because I don't want to, sound rude. They submitted a game to me with that name, and I casted a 25-minute game, and I did not realize at all. And I didn't realize for like half a year until they showed me like the unlisted YouTube video that they recorded of it, or I think I uploaded it to YouTube myself, and I didn't realize that it was like a massive like like a joke in our inner circle of friends that they were always laughing about. And it was just even when they explained it to me, I was like, I just don't get it. And they were like, no, you're saying, and I was like, oh. Yeah, I honestly, like, I don't know, I'm just so innocent, guys. I was just enthralled by StarCraft, StarCraft kept me honest. Hey, Dr. Scotty255, thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime. We're into Game 2 of this best of 5 semi-final. Curious Minds. Reynor says he likes this map because it's nice and open. It's short, though. Maybe HeroMarine can use that to his advantage. He gets a drone kill early. HeroMarine, who are you? Are you Clem? As we get into this second map. Who won the top semi-final, guys? It's not on the bracket. Was it Clem? Was it Zest? Clem. Rita won over Zestu. Some of those games were quick. They were hosting like games. I was sat here waiting for a lobby to host, and I saw like 3 different maps hosted by Clem. They must have been playing some fast StarCraft over there. Why do maps not have an uneven amount of expansions? Split map situations have an expansion to fight over. Just because a lot of the obviously a lot of like diagonal symmetry on maps wouldn't work then. On a map like Blackburn, you could have an uneven amount of expansions. Obviously, you have the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock makes it even. You could easily just not have like the 6 o'clock, for example. I think the problem is it frequently just it frequently just takes too much. It favors one race over the other usually, right? It's like, hey, my race is just better at getting to bases faster than you. So I take this base, and I just have more resources. Whereas on a map like Blackburn, because it has a choice of top base and bottom base, you can still scrap over those bases more than usual. But both players can realistically have a chance at taking that base, because it's hard for one player to just take both of them, That's typically why. There was a map once, was it called like Atlantis Spaceship or something? The mini-map looked like a teddy bear. This is back in the IGN days. Yeah, Atlantis spaceship. This map had a and this map was really popular when podding first popularized. Is like 1 gate, 3 nexus into 9 gate like pressure. Yeah, and this its mini map looked like a teddy bear, like because it had like a teddy bear face, like it had like little arms, and on the bottom of the map it had an uneven base, and that was always very funky. That was kind of cool, but it also just never got played into. Like, very rarely did that base come into play. Now that StarCraft 2 is a lot more figured out, people know how to play to, to the advantages of their races a little better. I think it's very difficult to make a map like that work a lot of the time. Teddy bear giving you the double middle finger. Well, actually, I never saw it as that. I just saw it like with a teddy bear with like a cute little set of paws. But now you say it, yeah, I kind of see it. Yeah, that's that one. Alright, guys, sorry. The Liberator went down, a little bit of a dance with the Queen. It did get a drone kill, as the Hellions just trying to cruise around and find some damage early. Melee upgrades early from Reynor, by the way, so later lair this game. He is not being building Overlord speed here, so a bit of a change up to how he played against Marine Lord. Maybe just very aware of the fact that, he's just very aware of the fact, I'd imagine, of how, Marine plays. He doesn't play it too cheeky, not as much as Marine Lord does a lot of the time, so I think that makes a fair amount of sense, right? I think that's pretty reasonable. So you can see our orbital command flying out to the 3rd locations, just getting that down and into position. As I have a few queens just moving around. I mean, the creep spread has gotten everywhere already in this 6-minute game. Again, small map, Reynor expanding up to the top side. Really wants to take this base. I think he sees this base as the bigger threat to him, because I think he knows just the power of maybe this choked up area that Terran can push from. HeroMarine is going to get ready to start pushing around this right-hand side. So around they come, getting set up, getting to the watchtower. That's going to be seen on Marine stemming forward. Lings do come around the other side, and those tanks are going to get surrounded pretty quickly. And they put some good damage out on the queens, to be fair. I mean, how many queens we lost here? 3? Also worth it, though. For 2 siege tanks, definitely not resources lost-wise. I think I kind of like it for Reynor. It feels like that's honestly somewhat of a comfortable step towards cleaning up for him, honestly. Hydralisk Den is on the way through. So we're going to see a lot of Hydra Dens today from Reynor. That's really interesting. Like I say, Lingbane Hydra has not been as much of a thing in TVZ lately. It's been a lot more kind of skipping, any sort of lair tech and just playing, maybe into lurkers when you get into Wood Hive. But like I say, and that's funny because then you get a Hydra Den, but you don't really play the Hydras. I explained this a bit before, how you kind of usually play like, you play like only as many Hydras as you're going to morph into lurkers, He's going to grab that Overlord on the left-hand side. A few Marines and Medivacs on the right, and we do have the army of HeroMarine split across both sides of the map at the moment. I like the split pushing. Obviously, just got to make sure you're quick enough to keep up with Reynor dealing with it, and I think HeroMarine's capable. These Banes are going to waddle forward. Good splits on the Hellbat, soaking a lot of the Banelings, actually. Reynor just about has enough to keep holding this off. HeroMarine's macro slipping slightly, had about 1,000 minerals there. That's one of those things you just got to keep on top of a little bit. I mean, Reynor's is slipping a little bit right now, too. Just a little less punishing to miss a little macro cycle as a Zerg than it is a Terran, because of the way the macro mechanics work, right? If you miss the chance to build units as a Terran, once you start building them, you still have to wait for them to build, whereas as a Zerg, you're just stacking up more lava, so once you build them, you still get the same amount of units, they just come out a bit later. Obviously, one of the beauties of StarCraft, the asymmetric races. And, that's just why it is maybe a little bit more important for HeroMarine to try and keep up with that production. That's why I pointed out for him, sooner than I pointed out for Reynor, but it is now a common problem for Reynor. He's just floating money, he doesn't have the lava to really make use of it. Surprising when you're playing Lingbane Hydra. Like, if this was just Lingbane, then I'd kind of get it. But because it's Lingbane Hydra, now I'm kind of surprised, Medivacs around the right, gonna unload. And as the Banding connects, a few Marines taking damage. And just gonna be seeing the rest of the Zerglings Moving over the right-hand side and morphing in a group of banelings. Getting those up and running as we do see the medevac boosting away over to the left. So you can see now banelings getting ready to go. A few Banes getting ready to roll through. And we're just going to be seeing Banes looking to jump on top of this Marine tank army. I mean, Reynor's just looking to swarm this. It's just going to be seeing our banelings crashing into all of this right now. As we're just going to see the siege tank picked off, and I don't think these lings are going to break in the natural, right? Because there's just enough Marines here, but HeroMarine's going to lose everything on the third base. 30 workers already dead. Still pulling SCVs in at the front. He's going to try and chase down the Hydras. The lings are like, no, protect our Hydralisks! And they will do just that. GG, Reynor stomps game 2. Okay, just before people, I see people already balance one. You miss a macrocycle as a Terran, dead as a Zerg, you're fine. It's like saying, hey, if you're a Zerg and you miss your injects, it's the same thing, because then you're missing a round of lava. The lava doesn't stack back up, right? As a Terran, you know, if you forget to drop your mule, you can still have that mule and another mule as soon as it's ready, right? Injects aren't like that. So, like I say, you can find some things to complain about. That doesn't mean that the other race doesn't have the same sort of things, right? You need to stop bringing in actual arguments to balance fine. It just makes too much sense, Wardi. Bottom left side, Reynor here on Glittering Ashes. This map is massive, by the way. Like, really kind of massive. Top right, our blue Terran player, HeroMarine, as we work our way through the semi-finals. So we did get confirmation that obviously Clem waits in the finals for whoever comes out of this victorious. Right now, it looks like we might get a Clem Reynor. Be kind of cool. You know, and this might be a bit of a hot take, but I actually think that the balance one in StarCraft 2 almost goes to show, and this isn't 100% of the time going to be true, but I think a lot of the time, a lot of the balance one in SC2 goes to show just how well made the game is, and how and how obviously how complex it is as well, right? Because a lot of time people feel like it's like, God, that feels so unbalanced, because each race works so differently that you don't feel, or what you seem to think is like, oh, why? Well, it's just so easy for you to do that, but then you don't realize what's so difficult for the race on the other side, right? You know, it's there's so much to appreciate in StarCraft 2. I don't know if that was I don't know if I made my argument or my point very well there, but yeah, I don't think I did at all actually, but I'm gonna stand by it, whether you guys figure it out or not. I just feel like a lot of the time when someone complains about something, it's like being broken. It's like, well, you know, what about this part of the game, or what about doing that against? And like, again, obviously, I think some things are definitely more frustrating to deal with than other things. Some styles are going to be easier to execute than other styles. That's part of the game not being, you know, a mirror matchup permanently, you know? I really think, because of the sheer diversity of balance complaints, it's balanced. But I'm not saying the balance complaints are, you know, legitimate though, right? Like, but because, what I'm trying to say is that because so many people feel as though there are balance complaints, there's a lot of diversity in the game, and there's a lot of differences in the game that's hard to see from the other side a lot of the time, so people get it out by balance wine instead. It's a good game, but Blizzard's very lucky they created a strong fan base with StarCraft and Brood War, else the game would have been just another RTS. No, I don't think that's true at all. If the game was just like any other RTS, it wouldn't have lasted this long, man. The game is so much better than any other, than like the majority of RTSs out there. There's a reason RTS is like I'm sure the popularity of StarCraft as a franchise helped, but StarCraft 2 is a good game. Like, I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I feel like you have to be crazy to say it's just not a good game. You can disagree with the design aspects of it. You can hate the fact that Reynor was about to roach rush HeroMarine to death here. I don't think that makes it a bad game, though. Alright, roach rush shows up here in game 3. Bunker high ground isn't done yet. I mean, Reynor should just go high ground. He's going to kill this bunker low ground. He is droning behind this, so he's not feeling like he's in much of a rush. There's no units here, though. There's like 4 Marines, an unfinished bunker. As Reynor moves up to the high ground, he's going to be like, oh, I could have done a lot more here. Wolof is good as well, by the way. The Italians can't do anything on the counterattack. Reynor's just going to sit and own the low ground for a little bit. Roach Ravager going to force that orbital to lift off. Ooh, I'm going to grab one depot already. Just going to go for the other one. I mean, getting the depots is nice, of course. That is one way to really slow HeroMarine down here. You guys think Reynor could have done more? I know he only had one Ravager at first. I feel like he spent so long killing the bunker on the low ground, he expected something to be high ground. But honestly, I feel like he could have got high ground and maybe broken through a depot, and there was like no units though. There's like 4 or 5 Marines. Maybe I was underestimating the Marine count. Good block over here. Queens have dealt with one Hellion, and the other Hellions get blocked from entering the mineral line. Got those few Hellions. I mean, Reynor should... I guess he doesn't know if they escaped up there, but yeah, I was going to say, worth checking if they're over here, as now he can get 1 kill, maybe 2. Yep. Clearing those Hellions out, removing more of the map control. Obviously, Reynor just droned heavily. HeroMarine just having to go up the natural for that long hurts him so much, while Reynor can drone and the Hellions across the map don't deal any damage. That's where this, well, 15+ worker lead basically comes from at the moment. And we go to this mineral line. No Uncloaked Banshee's going to find no Spore Crawler. So Reynor missing out, and all of a sudden we are killing drones, boys. Spore's going to start. Builds 2 just to try and make sure 1 finishes. And this is our way back in the game as HeroMarine. Oh, the biles were close, but not close enough. Well, it's funny how quickly a 15 worker lead is going to disappear as 8 workers are going to go down. Make that 9. Okay, didn't target the same drone twice there. Now he gets 9. Now let's make it 10. Right here. Not now. Now let's make it 10, but it's a different Banshee getting the kill. Actually kills this one up at the top side as the cloak runs out. New Banshee gets 2 kills already. Lair's done now, so Overseer's on the way, so on a ticking time bomb until these queens have better detection options against the Banshees, but talk about pulling yourself back into the game as HeroMarine. Look, Banshee's getting the job done. He's going to lose this one, though. Nice to obviously clean them out, but they did do the job of equalizing the worker count to some extent. When you add mules into the equation, being down 10 workers, that's more manageable than being down 15, especially now the 3rd CC is finished. Before it was, you know, being down 15 workers and only on 2 orbital commands. It's a very different situation now. That's going to be seen on a creep spread. Pushing down the low ground here. A few queens around the left. A bit more creep spread coming through. More roaches on the way. Look at the production tab. I mean, roach speed, ling speed. Obviously the carapace and melee upgrades. Getting that Bane nest ready. Gonna play a bit of Roachling Bane. This map does feel massive. I'm really intrigued to see how games continue to play on this map, because I almost feel like it's too big. Not sure if that's necessarily true. It does feel big. You know what it is? I feel like the bases are very separated because of this entire like chasm in the center. And then the bases feel very set back from there as well. And it feels like the creep spread's great for Reynor, and it's been barely even halfway across the map as well, right? Definitely feels like a sizable map. See how this game plays out. Reynor leading 2-0 in this semi-final. Clem waits in the finals. Defending Rotti and Wardi Cup champion. Took him $800 last time for first place. Will not quite be this Not quite be the same as a same amount this time, I don't think, but I'm sure he can get close to it. Whoever manages to win today doesn't necessarily have to be Clem. It's still been an awesome effort by everyone. Thank you so much, everyone who chipped in today. And I mean, this is just the semi-final. We're not done yet, but really appreciate everyone supporting and helping us make another awesome Rotti and Wardi Cup. It's going to morph, setting up some counterattacks. Massive army of HeroMarine. That's a lot of tanks, a lot of Marines. Only 2 medevacs. There's 2 on the bottom side as well. The Banes roll in. Oh, what? Wow, that Baneling just like jumped or something. Am I crazy? I felt like those Marines just died before the Banelings reached them even. How much is first place today? I don't actually know, guys. I think we're going to be having like a 15... I think like... I don't know how much money Roddy's stream has raised so far. We'll figure it out before the finals a little bit, I think. I'll ask Roddy and we'll do some math. Alright, big push. Massive counterattack from Reynor as HeroMarine pulled the SCVs back into this to help block for the Marines. And he's got the Banelings to bust through a siege tank in the depots here, so the Ling should gain access. Taking a while to get through, gets there in the end, so this attack is... I mean, that mineral line is stacked with SCVs. Oh, it's juicy. Sadly, we don't have workers killed on the side. This game doesn't have game hard on for whatever reason, but that was like 40 workers that just died. I mean, this army is just way too stacked up. Tanks are getting demolished. And Reynor, obviously, I think 2-2 against 1-1 for this fight as well. It's convincing. And he takes game 3 just like that. Reynor 3-0 in this semi-final. GG's.